Welcome to the Hollywood Heroine Podcast. All things pop culture, gossip, Kardashians, Real Housewives, reality TV. It's an addiction and we want to talk about it all. New episodes every Wednesday, and follow us on our Instagram account at the Hollywood Heroine with an E at the end. I want to hear what you guys have to say about the crazy pop culture world we are obsessed with. Okay, guys, we're getting right into it. Housewives, drama, tea. I have a very special guest here to join us and discuss everything Housewives. This is one of my best friends. Hello, Sersoy.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. This is definitely different. I feel like we always discuss Housewives, but now we're actually taking it to the next level.
I know. Thank you for inviting me. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited to talk about this with you. So let's let everyone sort of know what, you're obsessed with Housewives.
Yeah.
Do you watch all of them? What's your favorite franchise right now?
I feel like I watch almost all of them. There's some obscure ones like Housewives of Jersey, not New Jersey, but Jersey, Housewives of Cheshire. Those kind of really obscure ones that I've even seen a few episodes of those. I just don't follow as fanatically as the other ones. But I think all the pretty popular mainstream ones, I watch all of them. I can't even remember how I got into it, to be honest. I tried to think back of when I started, and I don't even remember. And then suddenly, especially over these last 2 years that we've been at home, just became heavily obsessed.
Yeah, no, I would agree. And I do feel like for everyone listening, COVID made us more obsessed with Bravo 100%. And the Housewives. And we message each other every day. We're like, what are you watching now? What are you binging now? Because it's we were stuck at home and there's nothing to do all day. Well, you have to work, but other than that, we're basically just chilling at home. And we were just obsessed. We rewatched New York.
I literally just rewatched New York again. I'm not even joking.
It's the fourth go around. We watched Shaw's all over again. I love Shaw's.
Oh my gosh, Shaw's, yeah.
So yeah, it's it was definitely the time I feel where we were just so lit on Bravo shows and we were just overly obsessed with it. And
yeah,
and now we're here.
For me, it was the first time in my life that I've had prolonged periods of time of being totally alone in the home. And so I felt as sad as it sounds, I had friends around that were having fun. And I was just observing their lives while we were staying home and doing my work.
We're texting each other. We're we just want to be on a yacht somewhere drinking with friends.
I'm telling you, when we're out of this, I have so much inspiration and I will plan a girls trip for us, housewife style. But to answer your question, what's my favorite franchise? Honestly, it changes from time to time and my mood. But I would say that from the earlier seasons, I really loved New York and Beverly Hills. I think I loved those the most in their earlier seasons. But now I think Atlanta is my favorite.
Really?
Yeah, I really love Atlanta. I feel it doesn't get as much credit as some of the other ones. But Atlanta, A, they're so savage.
Yeah.
And B, they're very entrepreneurial. Most of the ladies are honestly
that's
hustlers.
A good point. Yeah, that's a good point.
And so I really like Atlanta. And
do you feel like after NeNe it was missing something, or did you still like it after NeNe?
I was never obsessed with NeNe to begin with. I think she was cool and whatever, but I didn't think it was her show. Yeah. I thought Candy is my favorite one. I think she's just a chill, cool person. Again, I really admire her business sense. Yeah. But no, I never felt like that when NeNe left. I was okay, whatever.
That's interesting. Yeah, no, I don't know. I like Atlanta. It's not my favorite. I think I would have to say Jersey's my favorite. I think consistently, if you want to talk consistently from previous seasons till now, I would say I've enjoyed it the most. I did mention in one of my other podcasts, there was a couple of seasons in Jersey where I was remember the twins? And
yeah, that was such a
flicker. I was that's so random. I don't even think of those seasons, but everything else was really good. So I think for me, Jersey wins it.
New Jersey's definitely top for me. It's I said, it's hard to decide. It depends on my feelings and the season. But yeah.
Do you have a favorite housewife?
Oh, that's so hard too. I feel in real life, if it was real life and not Housewives, I love Kyle Richards. I always liked her. I thought she's cool and she's nice, and I like her, just her charisma. And I feel I would be friends with her in real life. But as a housewife to watch, I think Ramona Singer is just Number one,
I didn't think you were
entertaining
gonna say her.
housewives. Really?
Yeah.
She's just like, for like, this woman has been on it for over 10 years. She's like in her mid 60s, and she just, I don't know, she's put her foot in her mouth a billion times, but I just still love her. I don't know. I just think she's very entertaining.
100% she's entertaining. You chose Kyle. Kyle's my favorite too, and I can't believe we agree on the same housewife. There's like a million of them.
I don't so many of
but
them.
like she feels like someone who like I know, and like I would I wish she was my mom. Like no shade to my mom, but like I wish she was my mom, because she seems so normal and so loving, and Mauricio is like an amazing partner, and just watching them on TV is like such a good example of like what a relationship should be like.
That's really funny that you said your mom, because the reason I like her is because she actually reminds me of my mom. Like there's certain scenes, even her face sometimes in the more older seasons, when, not that she's had too much work done, but like whatever, before she had kind of any, like even her facial expressions sometimes remind me of my mom. That's why I don't know. I gravitate towards her.
It's funny because she reminds me of you in certain ways, because you're like the one that like, you're always the one that like brings everyone together. So in terms of like a friend aspect, she is that person in the show. Like she really is. She's sort of like the heart. She's sort of like the house that like everyone comes to.
Yeah.
And obviously we were growing up, like we would always be at your house and everything like that. But like, like she's like that sort of central line character. So yeah, shout out to Kyle Richards. We love her.
Shout out. Yeah.
People call her boring, but I'm like, I don't care if she's boring. I love watching her. I love her houses. I love her husband. I love her dogs.
Like, but you need like that person in the group that's consistently like the calm and chill person. You can't have every single one be crazy. And she's had her times too, especially like in older seasons with her sister and stuff. Like there's been drama, but yeah, she's just like, you need to have a nice person in the mix that's like more chill.
Yeah. Okay, so we haven't even talked about RHONJ yet, but real quick, I want to ask you about Miami, because I feel like Miami is not getting the heat right now that it like deserves. I do want to do more podcasts on Miami, because I'm loving the return to Miami. How do you feel about this new season?
So I never actually watched Miami in the older seasons, and I have to do that. I'm going to go back and watch the previous seasons, because I hadn't at the time. Because how many years ago was it?
I think it was like over 8 years or 7-8 years, they said.
Okay. So I need to catch up, but I'm enjoying it so far. Like the only person that is familiar to me is Larsa. She just like cracks me up with her OnlyFans, like that whole business about it. Like, okay, that's interesting. But yeah, I like it. I'm enjoying it. I look forward to it. And I'm down to watch the previous seasons to catch up a little bit, because a lot of them were on it.
A lot of them were on it.
The Alexia storyline with her kids, and her previous marriages and stuff, and what happened to her younger son and the accident that I guess he went through. I don't think that happened. I think that happened after the previous season. So I'd like to just get a little bit more of that background. But I'm enjoying it, and they're going hard right out the gate.
They're going hard, and like there's something really cute that I love about them. They're kind of all just like, they've had fights obviously, but like their vibe is so like having fun, and like we love each other, and they're very warm. And I do love the fact that like they all speak to each other like in Spanish, stuff, so they like throw words in, and I'm like, they do feel like they would be friends outside, and some of them are outside of like filming.
And I think they're just like a bit more of a diverse group, where a lot of the other Housewives franchises, like it's kind of the same clique from that town or city.
Yeah.
But these guys have a mix of a lot of different characters.
Yeah. No, I'm really loving it, and I don't want it to change. Like I would be down for a second season with the same cast. Yeah. No, I'm happy. It sounds like a lot of people do like it, which is good.
I've been keeping I've been keeping up with it. I'm like, oh, new episode. Like, let me watch it.
Because like
I'm excited for it.
I was expecting to hate Larsa. Like after the whole, because we're a Kardashian like family, like we know what I mean.
Yeah.
And like I stand by them. So like I was like, why did they like exile Larsa? There must have been a reason. But like watching her, like she is cute in her own way, and she's like quirky. Is. And like this whole OnlyFans thing is like the funniest thing.
It really is. It's really funny. Like this last episode when the previous one where Nicole, right? That's the doctor's name.
Yeah.
When she just was honest that like, okay, well, when I heard you were doing OnlyFans, like this is what perception I had of it. But now that I understand that it's not just like naked pictures or whatever, like my perception's changed. Like she can't, and I feel like they jumped down her throat so hard for just expressing that honesty. And Yeah, I mean, that was my perception too of
100%.
OnlyFans
You're
at the
so
beginning.
right.
So I don't
Yeah.
understand why they're freaking out about that so much.
She's like, you had an opinion. She's like, yeah, I'm allowed to have my opinion. Like I have
Yeah.
opinions, but like obviously it changed. Like once I did my research and like I educated myself. I'm really loving her and
Me
Nicole
too. I
as
like
the
it. I
newbie.
like her a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, okay, guys, we will do definitely a deep dive into
Yeah.
Miami if you guys want it in another pod. But this one is all about RHONJ and the premiere that was last night. So we're gonna break this down. I'm gonna try to like go through the scenes with you, everything leading up to obviously the big pool moment. So the first scene we see is Teresa, and you know they do that sort of like sequence of like what's everyone been up to, sort of like since we've left them. So we see Teresa and the girls by the pool, and it's like raining, and she's like, "Let's go sit outside." They're like, "Mom, it's effing raining. Like it's cold and wet." She's like, "No."
I feel like that's like us too in Toronto when like we get like one like glimmer of hope that we can be outside. We're like, yeah, let's go outside.
It's like +5. We're like, we're sitting outside. Like we are eating outside. No, and it's so cute. And like Teresa just seems so happy, just like in a whole different place in her life. Anyway, so they sit down, they're eating like the sub, and Gabriella killed me because she's like smothering hot sauce on her sub. I don't know if you noticed that. She was like going in on, I'm like, oh my gosh, she's so cute. So what comes out of this conversation basically is that Teresa's saying, we have to now get ready. We're going to move in with Louis and like the two boys, and like life's going to be different. We can't like walk around naked anymore. And then Gia's like, but mom, like, you know, like you're kind of like moving quickly. She's like, it's only been like a year. And Teresa's like, yeah, but it's been like a year and a bit. Like, so what do you think? Because I personally did agree with Gia, but like, what did you think when she asked that?
I think it is like, as a daughter, especially, I would definitely voice those kind of concerns. Like, I get it when you're older and you've been through a lot. You know, I do understand recognizing, you know, the love of your life and understanding that pretty quickly and wanting to move quickly, you know, to continue your life together. But as a daughter, yeah, I would definitely raise that. Like, even though it hasn't even been a year, but even a year is not that much of a time.
Like, can you imagine your mom telling you that?
No.
You're gonna move, like, no.
And to make such a dramatic change where, okay, we're all moving in together. And at this point, they're not even engaged, right? Because she's still referring to him as her boyfriend. So they're not even engaged. So there's not even that level of a commitment. And they're moving in together. And like, it's a big deal. I don't know. I would be concerned. I'm concerned already. And as her daughter, I would 100% be like, it's moving a little fast.
Like, get engaged, plan your wedding, date. That's fine. Like he can even have clothes in the house, but like for them to formally move in together, I feel like it's way too fast.
I feel like it was maybe a matter of like, she was trying to sell the house anyways. So what is she going to do? And like, they saw it going to a certain way with their relationship. Like, what is she going to do? Buy a different house? Yeah. And then, you know, eventually they did see a future together, and then they're going to have to sell the house again. Like, maybe it was more like the logistics of it, but I don't know where he was currently living with his sons.
That's what I mean. Like, he could have she could have bought this house because she could afford that house on her own. Like, she doesn't need his help to buy that house. He could have just stayed in his own house. And then like when they were engaged, or like when they're like maybe 2 years into it or 3 years into it, whatever, then officially he could have moved in. I don't know. I thought it was just interesting that she voiced that. And I was like, yeah, I totally agree with Gia. Like, it is very fast to move in and live together right off the start. So,
and I just think for them, like, the stakes are so high because they have just been through so much. Like, why rush and risk something bad happening again? Like, they've been through enough. Like, just take it easy.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Yeah. So then also, which I didn't know, the next thing that sort of comes up is like this whole drama with the girls and Joe, like Uncle Joe.
Yeah.
And how like they're mad at him for basically talking a bunch of shit about their dad, Joe. And I guess that happened on like last season or like on Instagram. Like, I don't know when he was like bad mouthing Joe, but he has been very vocal about he doesn't like him.
Well, they skipped to that scene when they were on the shore and he had like freaked out, screaming and cussing and saying, you know, he sent my sister to jail. He caused my mom to die early because from the stress, I guess they think that like whatever. So they cut to that when he just like went off on camera.
What do you think about that? Like, where do you stand with the two Joes?
That's so tough because from Joe Gorga's perspective, like, this guy did so much to hurt their family, like put all of them through so much. And anybody who had gone through that experience, like, would have had those words to say, but usually you don't have a camera around you 24/7 documenting, you know, those comments. And then obviously, you know, if you hear anybody say that about your dad, even if he does have faults, like that's really hurtful. So I don't know. I see both sides, but Joe Gorga, I find is a little bit childish. And I don't know if you're going to refer to it later on when he talks about how he knows that his nieces are upset with him and that he doesn't take responsibility to make it right. Like, you're the adult at the end of the day. Like, they're young girls.
I think it's hard too, because I think he stands by what he said. I think he is the alpha of that family. And he's like, to Joe, he's like, you fucked up my family. Like, you did this. Maybe he's not sorry for what he said. Because truthfully, like, if I was him, like, yeah, I understand why he said those words. And that's the truth. And I know that these girls, that's their dad, but like eventually they have to face, and then they have to face the truth of what their dad did and how it hurt Joe too. So, and those are his truthful emotions and he's getting them out. To your point, it's a very hard situation. They're still kids in a sense, but I do feel like at this point, they're on a reality show. They're exposed to the media. They need to fully understand and comprehend what their dad did. And those people have been affected and they have a right to speak their truth too, ultimately.
Yeah, I don't think Joe Gorga needs to like take his words back. I think it was very valid what he said. And we don't see some of the behind the scenes, but maybe if he had a more approachable conversation with the girls to level with them a little bit instead of being like, oh, they're mad at me, whatever. But we don't know if that happened.
Exactly. One thing that really shocked me when Melania at the end of that conversation, she goes to Teresa. She's like, I hope your brother starts doing the right thing.
Yeah.
I was like, bitch, if I spoke to my mom like that about her brother, I would have been smacked across the face. Like
your brother.
You're like, you got to tell your brother to fix this situation. No, like, you're the child. Sit the fuck down.
Yeah. Their whole family is like hotheaded.
I know.
It's just like their vibe.
And then like poor Gabriella, who was like the voice of reason, she was like, guys, it's not a big deal. Like, let's just like calm the F down. Like, because between Gia and Melania, they're both like very, very hot-headed. Like, they're very opinionated. Anyways, okay, so that's the beginning scene. Then we cut to Dolores at her house that's under construction still.
Okay, but can I say one thing about Dolores?
Yes.
She looks so hot. I know she had work done or whatever, but she come in first scene like crop top, her belly showing.
Short,
like, she was never like that before.
High pony.
She looks
she looks
really
bombed.
good.
Yeah,
like,
she looks
whoever
bombed.
did the work on her did it
good. She didn't go to Jennifer's Turkish surgeon.
No, she looks really good.
But also, you know who looks really good? Frankie's
looked good from the beginning.
Oh, this kid, I feel
but
like
even still, they showed his age and it was like, I think he's still like 22. And
yes.
I'm like, when is this guy gonna grow up?
I feel so gross.
Like 3 years.
I'm like checking out, I'm like, he's just so like, it's not even the way he looks. It's like his mannerism. He's just like he's man.
So sweet.
And he's so sweet. Yeah.
Big
so
time.
anyways, Dolores definitely raised some good kids. Her daughter's a doctor and like a vet and stuff like that. So what happens in this moment basically is she does say that Frank has a girlfriend right now. So like things are a little like, he's like preoccupied with like that part of his life.
Yeah.
She's like, come and finish my house.
She's in Texas, so he's like far when he has to hang out with her.
Then it cuts away from there and it basically has like this fast sequence with like everyone's voices talking about this video. Did you see the video? Did you see the video? The video of Louis. And it's like, I'm like, oh my God, here we go. Like, here's the thing. And they're whatever. So then we cut to Margaret's house. And she's like, Jackie's coming over to talk about the video. The video. Do you know, have you seen the video that they're talking about?
Well, I looked it up after watching that scene, but I had not heard about it leading up to it. Like, you know, sometimes you know the scandals that are going on beforehand because it like I had never heard about it. And then I ended up watching it. Like, I looked it up because of what they were saying. Like, during commercial, I looked it up and watched it.
What did you think about it?
It's super weird, but I think they're making a much bigger of a deal about it than like, I don't know. There
100%.
Was a lot of guys in the video, like 10 guys shirtless on a beach or something. And they're like pushing him to like express his feelings. And he just like apologizing to somebody else, I guess, like in a previous relationship that I did wrong and I hope you'll let me back and blah, blah, blah. Like, the scene is very odd. But it's not like scandalous. Like, he just like, I don't know. He went to some
and
weird
like
retreat.
we don't know what he's apologizing for. And for me, I think later on we'll talk about this too. But for me, that made me feel a bit better was that he even told Joe about this place, this like rehab, let's call it a rehab center or whatever. And he told Teresa about it from the start. So like, it wasn't that like he was hiding it or like lying about it. And it's just, I think just, it's unusual, but like, it's not like a red flag.
No, I feel like if these were women, you know, we'd be like, okay, whatever. The woman went to a retreat and it was all like girls and they talked about their feelings and they opened up, whatever. It's just kind of odd to see like that big of a group of guys, I guess, all together.
It's like a geared for guys type of like center. Yeah. So like whatever. Anyways, so this is the whole episode. Basically, everyone's like the video. And then Jackie's like, I can't wait for her pool party. Who's going to bring up the video? And it's just like all they're talking about. And then they also mentioned Jennifer real quickly because they're like, we basically hate her and like no one's talking to her right now. And then we get a scene with Joe and Melissa. And then they go to dinner with Tiki Barber and his wife, Tracy, who I'm assuming is the new housewife.
They're going to be housewives because I heard it was the same cast. And right now she's being labeled as Melissa's friend.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Because I don't think she's not holding anything in the beginning. So
no. And I remember hearing like, this is the first time that 4 years in a row, the same cast has returned on a Housewives franchise. And it was like kind of big news that this is the first time that's 4 years in a row. It's been the same cast of any of the franchises. Yeah.
What did you think about her? Like anything special?
No, I don't have an opinion yet. Like she looks cute, whatever. I feel like she's not the same vibe as the rest of the Jersey girls. Like even I just noticed like what she was wearing when she came to the pool party and stuff. Like she seems a little bit more reserved and like not as flashy as the other girls. So we'll see. I don't know. I didn't really have an opinion about her yet.
Yeah. I wonder what Melissa saw in her that she wanted her to be on the show. Like, is it just because she's married to Tiki Barber? Like, I don't know, like that whole situation. She didn't seem very exciting in my opinion, but it's only the first episode and like so many other things were happening.
Yeah. She didn't get that much airtime. So
no,
I don't know.
But again, she does bring up the video at dinner. She was like, did you see the video? And they're like, oh my God, let's talk about it and everything. Anyways. And then, yeah, like that's when Joe does say too, that like, Joe's like, yeah, Louis did tell me about the video and like you, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. So it wasn't like a secret. It just like looked weirder when you see the video and whatever. But yeah, I don't know why it's a red flag.
I just think that they find something and then the producers are like, run with this, like go. So then we leave that. We cut to Jen and her family dinner, which, you know, I love watching her family dinners because the food is just like bomb tiggity. So Jen so we're Armenian and Jen is, what is she, Assyrian?
Well, she's mixed. Like her Instagram says she's Turkish, Armenian. I think she has some Assyrian. Like she has a mix of those cultures.
Okay. So her food and our food is basically identical. So anytime she's like eating a feast, I'm like jelly because I'm like, I can smell the food right now. I want to eat it. Like it looks so good. So her drama. So I don't know if you saw her post, but like the night before the episode, she was very open on her IG and she was like, guys, you're going to see me. Like my face looks fucked up. And she's like, don't mind me. She's like, you know, I went through all these things. I had to go to Turkey. I got this surgery. I was still filming when like my bandages were still on. And she actually showed like a video diary of like days after her surgery and how like fucked up she looked. Like she posted that on Instagram. Yeah.
I didn't. I was like, oh my God. I saw her like after the episode, I went and I saw her post where she like explained what happened, but I didn't see the actual stories.
Yeah. Her face looks messed up. Anyway, so she was very open and she's like, please like try to be nice. Like, I know I look fucked up, whatever. Clearly the show didn't listen to that because they were editing her so bad this episode.
They were like really trying to capture every single moment of like a bad angle of her nose. But it was really bad.
So when we'll talk about that reveal later, but when we talk about this scene, she's still wearing the bandages, right? And Bill's like, babe, like you got to take the bandage off. Like it's been like 4 weeks. And she's like, no, she goes, he told me keep it on. He's like, it shouldn't be on. Whatever. So again, to me, I was like, why didn't Bill do the surgery? Like I was very confused as to like why her own husband didn't do it. But apparently like Jen does say later, he vowed like after her tummy tuck that he would never perform on her ever again. And I guess that's why so she went to Turkey to do this procedure. Yeah. And then I guess in this moment too, like we find out that her and her mom made up. So they're fine. Before we get into like the final scene, because I was freaking gagged. What do you think about Bill? Now, obviously now you know more, but like, what do you think about Bill?
I always thought it was surprising, like his character, just because, you know, we are Armenian and we have a sense of like what the culture is like. And he's just very different from other, I would say, Middle Eastern dads and husbands. So I always like was like happily surprised with how like sweet and sensitive he always appeared, and how like he would joke, and he was just very like easygoing and stuff. So I really liked him, but I was always surprised at his personality, just knowing like where he comes from. So I always like wondered if something else is going to come out later, because he's just surprising character to me.
Me too. And I think we talked about this when Jen first came on our screens. I was like, he seems amazing. Like he seems like such a cool guy. And I was like really praying I was like, I hope he's normal. Like I really hope he's a good guy. Like, you know, he seems like a good dad. Of course, you never know what happens behind closed doors, but like genuinely, like he seems like a good person. I mean, now we know a bit more skeletons in the closet, but like we'll get to that later. But yeah, so that's kind of like setting up Jen's storyline. And even her, like she does bring up the video with Louis to Bill. And she's like, I wonder if they're going to bring it up there. And he was like, yeah, maybe. And she doesn't have a problem with it. She was very much on Teresa's side, like as she would be. And she's like, it's a private video. It's a video he made to her. And he was apologizing. And she goes, well, what's wrong with it? So obviously we know her stance going into all of this is that she is going to, you know, be on Teresa's sort of end of it. And then we cut to Joe and Melissa right before the pineapple party. Joe is upset. Like he's like in the backyard. He's like talking to Teresa. And then Melissa's like, are you okay? Like what's happening? And then Joe was like, apparently Louis called Teresa. So the boys, the husbands of the Jersey Housewives had a show in Atlantic City, like a comedy show. And during the comedy show, somebody asked Joe Gorga, what do you think of Louis' like this weird video? And the poor guy like was probably caught off guard. He's like, his response was, I never missed my brother-in-law so much. Brother-in-law being Joe Giudice. And of course, I guess Louis like saw this or heard this or watched this, whatever. And he called Teresa and he was cheesed. He was like, who's like, why would he say that about me? Whatever. Then Teresa calls Joe and Joe's like freaking out because he's like, I didn't know what else to say. Like they caught me off guard. Like it was a joke. Like it was a joke to sort of like, you know, distract the people and whatever. So what did you think about this moment? Like, do you think Gorga should have said what he said?
You know what? I think he was really put on the spot, and he just tried, and like he's gotten in trouble with every single thing that he's said up to this point. And I think he just said what was at the top of his mind and try to like smooth it over. I don't think he meant any ill will by it. And he was just trying to make a joke. Yeah, it doesn't sound nice because like, okay, you're comparing him. You're saying that he's worse than, you know, your brother-in-law who you hated, who sent everybody to jail, whatever. But
yeah.
I don't think like, again, he was put on the spot and I think he just made a joke about it. But my question is, since when did the husbands have a show in Atlantic City in the first place? Like, what is that about? I had no idea.
Yeah, I remember they were like promoting it and stuff like that. They're so funny. Wherever they can make money, I feel like they do it.
Yeah.
No, but so, to your point, yeah. I don't think he meant it maliciously. I don't even think he meant it seriously. I think it just like rolled off his tongue. He was trying to be funny.
He definitely didn't mean it seriously.
No. So then he's like, I'm the bad guy. I'm the villain. Like, he's like, I'm not going to go to the pool party because he's like, everyone hates me and da-da-da-da. So that's like where we end off with that.
So that's again the point where he was like, oh, the girls are saying that I don't call them, but nobody's calling me. And like, again, like, I get it, but you're the uncle who they didn't have their dad for so long and you stepped in as their father figure. Like, be a little bit more of the grown up when it comes to the girls, at least. Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah. So we cut now to the pineapple party and Teresa's like using her like high pitched voice on she's like, hi. She's like, that's my party. I was like, why is she talking like that? That's not her voice. But she's so cute. She's like decorating everything with pineapples and like her pool looks bomb. Dolores walks in like super early and like this woman is still holding her bags. She's like 4 bags in her arms. She's like, can I have a shot? She's like, I'll have a shot. I was like, damn girl. She's like getting right into it. And then she's like, do you want me to wait? She's like, do you want me to even wait for you?
Yeah. She's like, yeah, I'll have a shot with you. And then they're walking inside. She's like, can I eat? And she's like, can you wait for the people to like start to show up at least? It was just cute.
It was.
But like also like Dolores does this whole scene sort of like prequels with the fact that Dolores is going to ask Teresa at some point about the Louis being cheesed at Joe Gorga about the comment he made at the Atlantic City show. So like Dolores already wants to ask her that. And then people start showing up. Melissa and Joe show up. So like clearly like Joe was fine with coming. Apparently Teresa called them back and she like apologized and said like, no, like just come through, like whatever. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So then at some point, Dolores pulls Teresa aside. Oh my God, this scene killed me. Like I was cracking up this whole sequence of events. I was dying. Dolores pulls her aside. She goes, Teresa, she's like, didn't Louis get upset? Cause like Joe Gorga, like he said something in Atlantic City and like Louis, he said that this is that. And Teresa's like, oh, she's like, that's so sweet. I was like, bitch, you're the worst actress. And Dolores is like, what? She's like, that's sweet. She's like, and then in her confessional, she's like, no. She's like, that is not sweet. She's like, that's like insulting. And Teresa's like, and then in her confessional, she's like, I'm just going to play dumb and act like I don't know because it's none of her business. Da, 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 da. So do you feel like Teresa played it off coolly or?
I thought she did, honestly. Dolores's face was so shocked with the way that she was like, oh, that's so sweet. Like as if she's saying something positive about Joe Giudice. She was so shocked at that response. But I mean, I would have done maybe what Teresa did too. She's just like trying to brush it off.
She's trying to brush it off.
She's smart. I think Teresa has been playing dumb for a lot longer than we realize. And I saw that the most when it came to the Ultimate Girls Trip.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, and she even said it on that trip that she feels for the first time with those girls, like different girls, that she was able to be more herself and she wasn't as ditzy.
No, you're right.
During that trip. And I feel like they portray her in Jersey as a lot more ditzy, but I think she's just been playing that now for 100%.
I agree with you through and through. I saw a different person in Ultimate Girls Trip. And I think even Cynthia said that. She was like, you seem different than how I thought you would be. Cause it's like, I feel like at some point she did decide to play a character, or she is playing a character almost.
And she just doesn't trust anybody.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's true. So that happens with Dolo, and Dolo was like, what the F is happening? and so like we know that Teresa's obviously like lying about it or trying to cover it up. And then it kind of like shit hits the fan a little bit. I have Melissa, Jackie, Tracy, and Margaret. They keep talking about this video. Like Margaret did not let this shit go.
No, Margaret is always like a dog after a bone.
She's like, the video. Who's going to talk about the video? Someone's going to talk about the video.
We're talking about it out of concern.
Yeah, like, we're not trying to be mean.
Concern.
Yeah,
you don't even care about Teresa. You don't even like her. And you're always like, it's out of concern.
Yeah. And then it cuts to like the guys talking about it. And like Joe, whatever, like Marge is like, yeah, the video, like the video. I'm like, okay, guys, let's just get to this. Like, just say it. So Marge is like, we have to tell her. He looks, and then he comes in, like Louis shows up and she's like, oh my God, he looks nervous. He looks nervous about the video. And then Marge, tells Dolores, this part killed me too. So I'm like, cause we know what's going to happen. Like we're waiting for the truth to come out. She tells Dolores there was a feud last night about the show in Atlantic City. And Teresa was upset. And Dolores is like, wait, what? She just pretended that she was totally fine with it like 4 minutes ago. So obviously they're like, oh my gosh, she's covering it up because she's really, really upset. Like in all fairness, like to their point, like it does show that Teresa might be more upset than she's leading on, because like, then why are you covering it? Like, just be like open and clear about it if you're like chill about it. And then it goes into Marge again being like, I think Louis needs to address the video. And here is where I was sort of like, no, bitch, he doesn't. He really doesn't, right?
No, he doesn't. He was never part of this world at that time, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is a video from how many years ago? He was not in the public eye, has nothing to do with his time with being with Teresa. And what is it to you guys?
Yeah, no, I was really annoyed by her and her like, wait, and then Teresa stood up for herself. And I was really, really happy that Teresa says, she goes, that was in his past and he doesn't owe anyone this explanation. And I was like, no, she's 100% correct. Like he doesn't owe anyone, has nothing to do with any one of them. There's nothing blatantly shady about it. So F off. Like,
and you should, if you watch, like while Teresa's trying to get that out and she's like, this is my house, please respect my house. Margaret keeps trying to butt in and she's like, yeah, but she's like trying to get in. She's not even letting Teresa like say her full statement of like, it's not a big deal. This is my house. Just respect it. Leave it alone. Like she's just after it.
Yeah. And I know, I'm sure a part of that is just the producers egging Marge on to like, keep asking, whatever. Ultimately, like to your point, right? This is the same cast for 4 years. Things might be shaken up next year. So everyone's, I think, trying to vie for their position for next year. And speaking of someone I think who does that a lot is Jen. And Jen and Bill finally arrive at the pool party. And we all know what happened last time. This girl got freaking shit-faced.
Yeah.
She actually said she did not get drunk a single time in season 12 because she was like, she's like, I don't know my limits. Like this is season 12. So like her filming for
So
season 12.
this season, she didn't.
She didn't. She's like, I can't. She's like, I get too drunk. And she's like, I don't know my limit. So I was really like shocked and like surprised, but also like, I'm glad that she decided to do that. So she shows up, whatever, her and Bill are there. And then right away she tries to do like damage control. She goes up to Teresa and she's like, no one's talking to me. She's like, no, whatever. So Teresa tries to like bring people like to her. Then Jackie comes up to her and she's like, Jackie, what did I do to you? Like, why are you so mad at me? And Jackie's like, well, you tried to destroy like my friendship with Margaret and Melissa and Margaret. And like that whole thing that happened last season with the reunion, how like Jen like popped off. I do feel like it was a little exaggerated. I feel like Jen was trying to like solidify her part for next season to have some sort of beef.
Yeah.
So all of this argument seems very like, I don't care really. Cause I feel like it's fake almost. Right.
Yeah. It's a little exaggerated.
Yeah. And then so Jackie forgave her. She's like, don't cry. Cause she started to cry. She's like, don't cry. I felt bad for her. And then in the middle of all this, they're like zooming in on this girl's nose. Like they would not leave her nose alone. They're like her nose, side shot, profile shot. And okay, let's talk about the nose. Cause I know you want to talk about it.
Yeah.
First of all, they were so mean to her when she came in. I know this is a show and I know it's a reality show, but they were so fucking rude to her. They're like, ew, look at her nose. Da, 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 da. Who did that to her?
It was Jackie. It was Jackie like turned around and she was like, her nose is really bad.
Meanwhile, I feel like they all have the same plastic surgeon like nose. They have that weird like tip, but okay, talk about this nose. I thought Jen was such a beautiful girl. Like I don't understand why she even did this to her nose. So it's kind of a shame. And I don't know if it's going to fix itself. Like, I don't know if it looks better now or at that time it just looked bad.
Well, like, you know, we know a lot of people, like it's pretty known that a lot of people go to Turkey or Lebanon or other, you know, Middle Eastern countries. They are pretty good at plastic surgery there too, and you get at a better cost, and she has her family there too, so like that didn't surprise me too much, but usually they're pretty good at it. And it was just like, so, but you know what, if it is very recently after, I'm sure there's some swelling that's going to go down, and her bridge was fine. Not to like over examine her nose, but it was
over examine it.
It was her tip. It was so
the tip, yeah.
She looked like a who or something, you know. It was like too much. It was too much. And anyways, I hope it. But when they show her in the confessionals, which I'm sure are taped later, her nose does look better, but it is more straight on, and there's a lot of like contouring makeup done. So yeah. I don't know. I hope it does get a little better. But she does say in that post when she comments on what happened and her surgeries and stuff that she did end up taking the chin implant out.
Yeah. So, but in this scene, does she still have the chin implant?
Yeah, you can tell. It's her face looks pretty different, and like you said, like she's such a pretty girl to begin with. Like she really didn't need it. And they went too hard. Whoever did her surgery, like it was too much.
Yeah, and I just felt bad. Like I just felt bad the way they were talking about her too. And Marge is like, oh, she's a pretty girl, she shouldn't have done it. Da 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 da. Like, anyways,
Margaret and Jackie did a drive-by close up to get to her nose. I don't know if you noticed, because they like mentioned it when they were further away, and they're like, no, maybe we need to get closer to look. And they literally did a drive-by where Margaret like literally walked by her, didn't even say hi, just to see her nose. And then Jackie did the same, but like Jennifer kind of looked at her in that moment and she said hi. So Jackie kind of had to say hi, but again, walked away. Like they literally did a drive-by to look at her nose.
It's very like just juvenile. It's very just like, you know,
mean
whatever.
Girl.
Yeah. Anyway, so Jen spends the rest of the time like apologizing to Jackie, and then Marge steps in, and then they go off, and then the rest of the episode is between the two of these women, and Teresa tries to step in. She's like, peace, love, everyone, happiness, my house, love, pineapple. Like she can't even say anything. Like she just wants everyone to like be happy. And then Marge and Jen just kind of like keep going back and forth. Marge is like, you called me a snake, this, that, whatever. And I don't even know what Jen's like rebuttal like was for that, but she's just saying like, I'm happy. She's just saying
it was like tit for tat.
Yeah. She's like, my life is perfect. She's like, I'm very happy with my husband. And then Marge is like, oh really? She's like, you have some skeletons in your closet. And Jen's like, just like, be real. Like, she's like, I'm okay with whatever. And it all sort of comes down to this moment where Marge says, you talk about everyone else, but not your own shit. And then she says, everyone knows he had an affair. And that's why he left his old job.
Yeah.
Bill had the affair with the office manager for 2 years.
Oh, she said 2 years? I didn't hear that.
2 years, bro.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
2 years. I was like, oh. And then Jen's like,
Maya.
it wasn't the office manager. It was the fucking pharmaceutical rep. I was like, oh, okay.
You yourself.
Cool. Like, fine, own it. Like, that's awesome. But like, I was just, again, like to what we said to Bill, like, I thought he was like, I just thought he was like this, like, amazing, untouchable, like innocent guy. And I can't believe I thought that. And bro, 2 years, that's a long ass time.
I really didn't hear that. That's very interesting. That's really, it makes me sad because, you know, every time you put somebody up on a pedestal, they find something.
And it's like, and so I read it, then I was like freaking out and I was spiraling. And then I Googled a bunch of things. And apparently Olivia found out about this on TikTok because someone posted that Bill had an affair on TikTok. And so Olivia saw it and she's like, no, my dad never did that to my mom. She's like, my parents love each other or whatever. And then she showed Jen and she was like, mom, like people are saying this about dad. And Jen was like, fuck, like she had to tell her, like delete the, she's like, delete the comment. She's like, don't get involved. And then she's like, and then we had to have the talk with like all their kids because we knew it was going to come out. Like we knew it was out there at that point.
Do you know more details, like when it happened and stuff?
Yeah. So it was when she was pregnant with the fourth kid. I don't know who the fourth kid is because she has 5.
Out of 5. Yeah.
So it was when the fourth kid happened. I don't know if like that's when it started or that's when it ended. I don't know that, but yeah.
That breaks my heart.
It breaks my heart. And that breaks my heart that like she found out like that. I don't know. Like I'm a daddy's girl. I know you're a daddy's girl. If I ever found out that about my dad, like it would crush me. I could never see my dad the same way again. So like, I can't imagine she's like 8, she's 9 and she's seeing this on the internet. Like, dude, that's going to fuck up. Like I just hope it doesn't mess her up. And I'm sure he's like
a good dad. And
even Margaret said, she goes, I'm sure he's atoned for his, like he's made up for it over these years. Cause Jen was like, he provides a very nice lifestyle for us and all these things. She's like, yeah, is he atoning for his sins basically? I don't know.
Because even if it was with the fourth kid, like that must have been many, many years ago because all her kids are like,
yeah, she had them pretty like, I think back to back too.
Yeah. I feel like Olivia, who's 8, she's maybe the fourth one
or the last one. She's must be the youngest. No?
Oh, maybe she's the youngest. So we're talking like 10 years ago.
Yeah. I was just really shocked.
So I'm sure they've like overcome it and like they're kind of over it as a couple. And I'm sure it's really hard to like have to revisit
like
all
2 years, that's like an emotional affair. That's not like just having sex.
No,
like that's like, so
that's
I don't know. That's like pretty rough.
Do you think it's going to be more of a, like one of the major storylines of the season?
I don't know. I think so. I think it will be. Not that I want it to be, honestly, because I don't want it to affect the kids. And shit like this really does affect the kids.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it not being a huge storyline. But
like let them maybe just describe it and kind of move on.
Yeah. But the fact that like in the article, she's talked about like talking about it with her kids and stuff. I'm like, damn, maybe it's going to be a bigger storyline. Yeah. And I do feel like the producers were waiting for Jen to have something big. Because up until now, she really hasn't had anything major with her family except for her mom.
It's like her mom, but that happened. It wasn't that big of a deal.
So I feel like producers are like going to jump on that. Right. But obviously, I think the biggest thing this season is going to be Louis and it's going to be Teresa and it's going to be...
I wish it wouldn't be... I wish Teresa wouldn't be the focus for one season. Like, geez. Like, it's always her drama is like the highlight.
That's why they say she runs the show because of this reason, right? Like
it's like toxic.
It is toxic. Joe Gorga and Melissa tried to have a main storyline last season and nobody believed it. They were like, we're having marital issues. And everyone's like, no, you're not.
No,
like,
you're not.
It's like a fake storyline. Like, we don't believe that.
They kind of tried to allude to it now too. And they were like, oh, people got divorced over COVID, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I thought I didn't like you. I thought I didn't like you. But now I like you again.
Yeah.
First of all, when was this filmed?
This must have been filmed in the summer. I would say closer to August, maybe like July,
and
August.
At that time, just speaking from Toronto, Canada, it's like so hard to see that they're like, oh, all the restrictions have been lifted. I was like, what? I was
like, I know she's freaking out because like in the episode, and I was so sad because like no one's wearing a mask. No one's doing anything. I'm like, these mother effers are living free and we're like caged animals up in freaking Canada right now.
Yeah, and this is 6 months ago.
Yeah, I know. I noticed that too.
I know summer was different, but still. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah. I don't know, guys. It seems like it's going to be a great season. I think Jersey never disappoints. Like whichever direction it goes in. obviously Teresa's going to be a big part of it. She does say that like she's beefy with everyone, especially not Jen, but like, and I don't think Melissa, but like mostly Margaret. So I don't know. Let's see what happens with those two. And the rest is still unwritten. That was really fun.
Yeah.
That was really fun. That was a good time. But like, yeah, we got through the whole episode. And yeah, I definitely want to hear what you guys have to say about it. I know everyone's freaking out right now about Jersey because it is such a like hit. I think that's it from us. Anything else you want to ask or you want to talk about? Any theories?
I wonder if we're going to see Dolores's new boyfriend and if we're going to see the the end of David, like putting an end to that. Like yes. I like to see, because I was surprised. I forgot, like I always, forget that like we're going back in time when the seasons air. And she kind of still comments that they're together. So like, when is that going to wrap up? I'd like to see, I wonder if we're going to see that.
Yeah, no, I kind of skipped over that, but that was a good point that you brought up. So right now she's still with David in the episode, in the season. I do think we're going to see the breakup. And I do think we're going to see maybe the new guy, because she just showed the new guy on her IG like maybe last month. So maybe she won't show the new guy yet. Yeah.
But it would be interesting to see like if, and like obviously they do break up, but if
that made me sad too. I really, really liked David, even though he was kind of like aloof a lot of the times. I did like him for her. I do think when she went off and got all those surgeries, he got really upset. And he's like, what are you doing, bro? Like,
yeah. Because
you're beautiful.
He's a trauma surgeon, right?
I think he's
or like some kind of critical care.
Yeah, and he delivers babies too, I think.
Oh, right. Well, like he's not cosmetic. He deals with surgeries when it's like a critical issue. And so I feel like he thought, why would you put yourself in a situation where, you could have risks, you could bring yourself harm, like for what? Like you're already beautiful. Yeah. And I totally understand that turning people off.
No, and exactly. And it's like I think he saw so much in her. But after a certain point, it becomes a little superficial. And I think that turned him off, because he was like, okay, what are you chasing now? Like, stop chasing this, like whatever it is that you're chasing. So I can definitely see why things just didn't work out with the two of them, but whatever.
Yeah. I guess the last thing I wonder is like, what's Jackie's storyline going to be?
Me too. I feel like Jackie and Margaret, I don't know. I could feel them. I could see them like dipping. Like Margaret maybe would stay, but I don't see why I don't see anything that Jackie has right now.
I would be okay with Margaret leaving too, to be honest. Like she gets on my nerves.
I think it's time to, sometimes there's like a cycle, and like you said, 4 years, they've all had this like long cycle. It's time to like bring in new blood. Like just looking at Miami and like the energy that these new girls bring, like Dr. Nicole and like, I think what's her name? Kiki and like Gertie. Like I love their energy. It's like this fresh, fun, new energy. And so I think it's just time. When they find the right people, it's time. And I don't think this new girl is it yet. I'm just judging that based on like this hour-long episode, but she doesn't.
You never know, I guess.
Exciting. Yeah, you never know.
I can't even remember a time where they've added a friend.
I don't know when they've added a friend. And speaking of, we should do another podcast on this, but New York City, because they're gonna soon release who's gonna be the new cast. And from what we know, 3 OGs are coming back. So I'm assuming that's Ramona, Luann, and Sonia.
Yeah.
And Ebony and
my girls.
Your girls, your Charlie's Angels. And Ebony's out.
Ebony's out, confirmed?
It's not, nothing is confirmed, but dude, it was bad on Instagram for a while. Like people were very vocal about Leah and Ebony.
I never liked Leah.
Yeah.
Not that I didn't like her. She just like was a very different dynamic, I think. I actually did like Ebony. I liked the topics that she raised. I liked the discussions that they were having. I understood why they added her. She was different than like the crew that they've had all this time. I didn't mind her. I just never really liked Leah.
I agree with you. I did like Ebony. And I did love Leah in the first season, because she came in with sort of this humbleness and like wanting to be on the show and impressing people. I loved her then. The second season, when it just seemed like she was very, I'm the shit. Like I got my paycheck, because she asked for more money and they gave it to her. She's like, I got my paycheck. I'm like, they can't get rid of me now. And she just had this air about her that I was like, you're annoying now. Like she just, I don't know, the tone changed for me. And
so she's confirmed out.
nothing's confirmed yet, but it's like kind of a thing. And also on her Instagram, she's been saying how like she's been really sad lately and like confused with things. So people are trying to like be like, oh, is she like talking about being fired and this, that, whatever. So I think we'll definitely get some news in the near future soon. I look forward to it. I'm also very okay with, honestly, and I'm going to say this, I'm okay with Ramona not coming back.
You know what? Ramona made me really sad in Ultimate Girls Trip.
Yeah.
Because she had gotten like, Ramona was crazy. And then, you know, after her divorce, like she was doing really well at the beginning. And then I guess after she got that out of her system of like being single and like having fun and dating all these guys, and like that got old. And then she did want somebody more serious, I guess, and it wasn't happening. She started like going downhill and being like her bad self again, which really came out in Ultimate Girls Trip, which like I'm sad about it because she was better than that.
I agree with you. I think ultimately she is a sad person. I think there's a layer of this funny drunk thing that like covers it up, but we're so many seasons in that it's no longer covering it up anymore. And I just truly, even Sonia, like I have to say, like watching Sonia sometimes, like it makes me sad because they are so lonely, and I'm kind of ready to let them go and have like a fresh new, you know, 30-something-year-old, 40-something-year-olds, New Yorkers.
Yeah.
And just start a new franchise. Like I know that's hard for some people to like accept.
No, I agree with that. Like, you know, when I said I rewatched it, I actually stopped watching it after Bethany left again. So I think it was the last 2 seasons once like Leah came in, because after that, like Dorinda, Sonia, Ramona, like they all like really took a turn downhill where they were like getting drunk in a scary and sad way. And I feel bad for them. And maybe it's just no longer a good environment.
100% agree. I think Dorinda's like a Kyle Richards. She's like the heart. She's the heart.
Yeah.
And I think she made them a bit more normal when she left. It was like, no.
Too much.
Too much. Yeah.
So I'm ready for new blood in New York too.
All right. I think that's it. I think that concludes our Housewives discussion for the week. Did you get it all out?
I got it all out.
I got it all out. It feels good.
Yeah. I need it.
And now when our husbands come home, we can be like, we're good.
Yeah. I don't have
to explain anything to you.
That's why I said, I'm like, let's talk earlier.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you for doing this. This was a lot of fun.
This was so fun. I would love to do it again.
Thank you. We'll chat.
Okay, bye.
And that is it, guys, for the podcast this week, covering off RHONJ. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys loved my best friend / co-host. So let us know. Follow us on Instagram at the Hollywood Heroine with the E at the end. Comment, DM us. Let us know what you thought about the podcast. And if you can, guys, if you're listening, we're on iTunes, we're on Spotify, we're on YouTube. Drop us a review on iTunes. Let us know how we're doing, if you like us, and if you guys want more of this. So thank you so much. Bye.